Week 13 coming to a close and the excitement of Season 3 awaits. Right now, it's time to put down the tension and pressure of a championship battle and get out and have some fun today. Friends, rivals, they've all come together for bragging rights. Today, it's 4 very special cars for this special event. You know the names: Gerber, McLeod, Laughter, Trengarade, Clapp, Lake, Hall, Houghton. The list goes on. 3 great retro communities represented today: the Lotus 49 and the 79, the Nissan ZX-T and the Audi 90 of the Kamel series. Folks, turn back the clock and get ready as we bring you all the 2018 Summer Classic retro action. From Green Flag to Victory Donuts can be seen live as it happens here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Floating just over the village of Watkins Glen and way up in the press box to bring you all the action is the fan belt, Johan van den Belde, and yours truly, Sean Ambrose. Our director today, the doctor of pit topology himself, Amjad Yaman, armed with cameras aimed, zoomed, and focused by the GSRC camera guru, Dougie Beard. If you've brought cyberspace into your place, then over the next few Streamy Award minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines and all the stats and facts you need to appreciate the 60 minutes of simulated retro racing that will immediately follow. Now it's time to bring in our good friend Johan van den Belde and have him get us up to speed here at Watkins Glen. Johan, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, today we visit Watkins Glen International. The track is located in Watkins Glen, New York, at the southern tip of Seneca Lake. Now it probably doesn't matter if you're a diehard Formula 1 fan, IndyCar, NASCAR, sports car, you'll probably know the track, as Watkins Glen hosted races for each type of racing car. The permanent circuit that we visit today was constructed all the way back in 1956, replacing the public road course that was being used at that time in the village. A few years later, in 1971, the track saw a big refurbishment, increasing the length of one lap to 5.4 kilometers. After the time, the layout basically stayed the same, all the way until now. Now today the drivers will brave both asphalt and concrete surfaces in the car. They will skip the for safety added inner loop at the end of the back straight to plunge themselves downhill into the chute of the boot section. Personally, I feel that Watkins Glen is one of the easier tracks to drive, but don't be fooled, because to go really quick here, you have to be courageous and willing to use every millimeter of track. Combined with the added challenge that drivers have to deal with traffic of all speeds and sizes for 60 minutes, I don't think it will be an easy summer evening ride today. So to get an idea of what it's like to go around this place, let's hop on board our GSRC Lotus 79 for a lap around Watkins Glen.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Watkins Glen. Coming out of turn 1, this is an excellent place to pass, but it's also super easy to overshoot. It's downhill as you're braking, so the issue gets compounded even if you're only slightly past your mark. Climbing back up the hill, the draft in the Lotus is going to leave a huge hole in the air. That means you'll see drivers pulling someone in from a long ways back. There's no lifting all the way through these S's, and since this layout skips the bus stop, you don't touch the brakes until the carousel. That means a lot of swapping positions will be taking place down this backstretch. Best to pick your line early and make your intentions clear. For the banked carousel, it's a very fast entry, so the brave drivers will really reap the benefits if they can be consistent. With the high speeds, little incidents will become big ones in a hurry. After that, switch sides quick and set up for the chute. This is a corner where being able to late apex tends to be a better line, but it's tricky to get just right. After that, we come to the lowest part of the circuit at the toe of the boot. This is a spot where you might see drivers try to overtake, but if you can get a better launch off the corner than your opponent, it's very possible to get the spot back. This climb is incredibly steep, so momentum is your friend. And the heel of the boot is another place where passing isn't uncommon, so you'll get a good chance to outbrake your opponent. Watch out for the inside curves, because some of the taller ones will upset the car very badly. By now, we're getting back to the main part of the circuit. The crest and off-camber nature of turn 9 makes it tricky enough, but on-throttle oversteer on turn exit just complicates things further, as Amjad shows here. Indianapolis has some banking, but even with all the downforce of the Lotus, it's not quite flat out. Finally, we hit the last turn, which has the barrier right at the edge of the track. Treat it more like a street course to save the car. Hopefully you've hit all your marks and have now finished a lap around Watkins Glen.
Amjad Yaman piloting the GSRC Lotus 79, and wow, what a race we've got in store for you today. Let's talk about the details here in the Summer Classic, the second edition of this great Week 13 special. You've got the Nissan, the Audi 90, the Lotus 79, the Lotus 49, the very best of the retro series on the iRacing service today. It's going to be a 60-minute race. We're in the middle of qualifying right now, which is 4 laps, 10 minutes long, and just about 4.5 minutes left. It's an open setup on the cars. Now, they've restricted the fuel just a bit, so everybody will need to make at least one stop. Nobody's going to be able to make the full 60-minute race on the current fuel load they have in the car. So that'll be interesting to see how the classes interact coming in and out of the pits, and the exit of the pits here at Watkins Glen comes right out into traffic. So that'll be fun to watch. No incident cap, and you do get one spare car. So if you have a a debilitating injury, you could go into the pits and get one car, but that's it. And over 60 minutes, 4 different classes here represented today. Johan, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge as we now kind of settle in and start to watch qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. We have 4 cars at the same time on the track that are quite different, have quite different characteristics. We have, of course, the Nissan leading the pack at the moment. Tapani Luoto, we see him on track, has put down the quickest lap time. Now that car is probably the quickest one that you see out there today. But even despite it being the quickest car, it's only 4 seconds per lap quicker than the Lotus 79. There's not a big gap between those two. And I think that you might actually see some quick Lotus 79 drivers put the battle to the slower Nissan drivers. And the other 2 cars, the Audi and the Lotus 49, they're not that far away from each other either. At the moment, Ovi Trangerate is leading the Lotus 49 class, but his quickest lap time is only 2 seconds quicker than the ones of the Audi. So I think, Sean, that out there today, yes, we have four different classes driving around Watkins Glen, but the differences between those classes aren't that big.
No, they're really not, and we could see a surprise here for the finish. You know, this is the second running of the Summer Classic. First one last year took place at Spa, so they've really changed up the track just a bit. I mean, at Spa, of course, we know very long track, lots of passing opportunities. Watkins Glen, a little bit trickier. You've only got the really one long straightaway, and then down the backs out of the S's to really do some overtaking. So we'll see. But last year's winners were Nick Bucanos in the Nissan, and Ossian Pohaka in the Lotus 79. Jack Ulstead won in the 49, and there weren't any Audis last year. Well, that's kind of changed. We've got a pretty decent size Audi field here right now with 10.
Yeah, exactly. And just to go back a little bit to what you were just saying, Sean, about those long straights. Of course, Spa, long straights galore. So many you have there out on track. Watkins Glen basically only have one long straight right out of the S's and when you go into the carousel. And that long straight will be very important. Why? Because these cars have different lap times. Some cars are quicker than the others, but the top speed of each car isn't really in that order necessarily. I heard some drivers say in the pre-show that the Lotus 49 might actually be the quickest car out there, even though it's a lot slower in the corner. So you have a really interesting dynamic out there on track today. You have cars that might not be quicker over one lap, overtake you back again on the straight, and once you reach the corner, they have to go on the brakes way earlier than you might expect, than you might have to, and also have a lot less momentum in the corner. So that characteristic with 4 cars that might not be that far apart in qualifying times, but have very different characteristics, that's gonna really bring something special out there today.
Well, listen, a little less than a minute left. Dave Price just went to the top in the Lotus 49s with a pretty quick lap there, a 1:42.8. But Ove Trengrade still has a couple laps left in him. I think he's got time for maybe one more here. Trengrade only, they're separated by 100th of a second, so you can just get a better lap in here. Maybe he can get to the pole.
Yeah, but with only 20 seconds left, I see Ove Trengrade has just started to enter the boot. I don't think he'll be able to complete that section within 20 seconds. I don't think Ove Trengerade will be able to put a lap time quicker than Dave Price at the moment. So I think Ove Trengerade has to start behind his rival in the Lotus 49.
Well, in the Nissans, Tapani Luoto put it on the pole. Ossian Pohaka in the Lotus 79s. Now we can go to our grid here in the 2018 Summer Classic. Let's get it in here real quick. Starting in the Nissan class, Tapani Luoto will be on the front row with Fabian Gerber. Row 2, Clayton McLeod, Michel Rugenbrink in 4th. Nicholas Schneider will start 5th. Fabian Jungbluth in 6th. Nick Bucanos and John Keefe will round out row 4. There are your top 4 rows of the Nissans. Go ahead, Ove. Johan, Ove.
Almost. We're both from Europe. Behind them in the Lotus 79, Ossian Pohaka, you just talked about them. The winner from last year in the 79 has put it on pole once again. Matt J. Wood, the one of the better drivers in the GSRC Championship that we broadcast, starts next to him in P10. Alex Millward and QC Clapp start on row 2 of the 79 field in front of Liam Quinn and Manning Grinnen. Kevin Coles and Jens Ruger start in P15 and P16 out there today, Sean.
All right, buddy. Now we'll go on down to row 9, and that is where you're going to find the Audis and Dave Price on the pole. Ove Trengrade will start on that row with him there second. Kane Lasky with a good qualifying effort, row 10. And Richard Morin will start 20th there. Rory Collins, 5th. Simon J. Shaw, 6th. And Ben Laughter is going to complete our Audi field today in 7th.
And interestingly, if you look at those qualifying times of the final Lotus 49 drivers, they kind of mixed up with the Audis. So that's going to promise something for the race today. The quickest Audi out there today was Riley Thompson. He starts the race in P1 in his class next to Philip Lake. Andy Trurpiani starts in 3rd place in the Audis next to Rob Olignac. Jamie Hall starts in 5th next to Justin Morton. David Roffey starts in P30 out there today, just in front of Lewis Hamilton. And the last 2 drivers on the grid are Richard Koff and Stefan Schlachter.
Well, Johan, I think we've got plenty of cars for this track. I think we've got a decent field here. This should be pretty exciting. If you're joining us for the first time here on the Global SimRacing Channel and you've never seen one of these Retro Series races we do every week, you're in for a real treat because, well, we were talking about it earlier, the strength of the field here, just over 3,000, which means we've got some of the very best from each one of these series here today. I would even say the best here. So this really going to crank up and be a lot of fun. The weather today, really favorable. It's partly cloudy. It's just about 78 degrees. It's a little slick on track, though, Johan. We're going to have to watch out early as they make that first trip down into the 90. It could be checkers or wreckers. I don't know. We'll see. But, with the track temperature at 104 degrees Fahrenheit, it's going to blister these tires just a bit. And we talked about those pit stops, and I think you'll see some tire changes going on.
Yeah, it will be interesting because normally these classes, like you just said, like we broadcast the Kamel GT, the 49, the 79 championships on GSRC, and usually those races do not feature pit stops. So it will be interesting because a lot of drivers will have to make pit stops in their cars that they're normally not used to. So what do you do when you're suddenly for the choice, do I take tires or do I not take tires? It will be interesting out there today to see the different strategies that some people actually go for maybe some fresh rubber to try and increase the lap times a little bit, or opt out not to do anything and just take some fuel to make it to the end. As you say, lap 1 will be really important. That turn 1 is going to be, it can end in a crash heap down there, but I don't think that will be out there today. The field is really separating themselves. So the 79s are creating a little gap behind the Nissans, the 49s behind the 79s. So I don't think there will be a lot of inter-class conflicts at the start of the race. I think everything will be okay, and the drivers know this. It's a 60-minute race. You will only have things to lose if you wreck it in turn 1. The drivers will be probably focused on that long run to the finish flag and keep the calm out there in lap 1.
Okay, and so now they've made their way through the heel. And the Nissan drivers, they get ready as they follow that roof pace car. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited to get this going. I also love this left-hander here at turn 10. It's really fast for these Nissans when they get through. Lots of grip through the Nissan. That certainly one turn where they may have the advantage on the rest of the field. But here we go, folks. Get ready. Tighten your seatbelts. It's time to go here in the Summer Classic for 2018 here at Watkins Glen. Your pole sitter, Tapani Little-Luoto, he waits, and now he goes. The race is on. Little-Luoto is going to have it clear down into the 90. Heavy braking from Clayton McLeod and Fabian Gerber. And Little-Luoto gets off to a good start. How do we do back behind?
Yeah, and the 79's Matt Wood had a great start, tried it on the outside of Ossian Puhaka, but didn't make it stick. Puhaka staying in front of him and leads the 79 field through the S's.
Let me go back to the 49s, and it looks like Dave Price has gotten off to a great start. Dave, Kane Lasky going at it here early. Everybody's still on track here, running through. Riley Thompson gets off to a great start in the Audis. Philip Blake chasing him here early. Lots of excitement on track.
Little crash that happened before the start. Lewis Emerton was turned around in the last corner. He collected Richard Kuff. David Roffer was also involved in the incident. Now it seems like all three cars are still on track, but they have lost quite a bit of track position to the rest of the fields.
Riley Thompson, Philip Blake were side by side. We're up now looking at the Nissans, but they're already battling hard for the lead here in the Audis. That field just stacked up still.
Hard battle, by the way, going on the Lotus 49 field. Kane Lasky already made a pass on Ovid Trangerate and is putting pressure on at the moment on Dave Price. Going in the corner out of the boot section. He had a little look but didn't make it stick. Has to follow. A little bit loose on the braking, but Kane Lasky already making up one position. Trying to go for the P1 position in the 49s.
And in the Lotus 79s, Matt Wood gets off to a great start. He's already dropped Ossian Puhaka. Put about a half a second on him. Wood in control here in the Lotus 79s as he heads down to the 90.
Yeah, really the entrance of the boot section, that's where he made the difference on Ossian Puhaka last time around. He already had a great start. Tried to move in turn one, but really made a stick in the boot section. The gap that he currently has, that's something that he likes. Probably will try to make a little gap towards his Finnish driver. And Ossian Puhaka currently under pressure of Alex Millward, putting it side by side on the back straight, going towards the carousel. Alex Millward has the speed there to seal the deal before they go. A little bit of a bad run through the corner. Ossian Puhaka closes right up, but the Finnish driver is relegated to P3.
And you know, something we didn't even talk about in the pre-race. I don't know if anyone's recognized this, but we don't have an interloop to worry about here. No bus stop to get through. They are flat out down that backstretch into the carousel, which just changes the total dynamic of that turn there in the carousel. But up front, here we go on screen with the Lotus 49s. You see Trendgrade there just digging, trying to find an opportunity there to get around Dave Price. They'll run out of straightaway here. Heavy braking zone, though, coming down into the turn.
Ovid Trangerate, one of the best drivers last season around in the Lotus 49 championship, but Dave Price as well. Both drivers battled for wins basically every race they competed in. And this time in week 13, one more time they battled for the win. Currently only separated by a few tenths of a second. I think that this duo will be very close together, hanging each other's gearbox all race long.
You know, in the Lotus 79s, Puhaka has lost another spot. Alex Millward coming around and up to second. But Matt Wood, man, Wood just off to a screaming start. He's already put a second on the field here, and Wood really dialed in for this race today here at Watkins Glen.
Well, Matt Wood was one of the most impressive drivers out there last season in the 79 championship. He finished P4. That was the highest ranking in the broadcasted season of all the drivers that are here today. So yeah, Matt Wood is probably one of the drivers that will be fighting for the win, probably the favorite at the moment for that victory in the Lotus 79 field. All the way to the Nissans. As we go to P3 in the Audis, Jamie Hall's under pressure of Andy Trupiano. Trupiano dives into the draft, is not quick enough to make it stick into the carousel. Has to stay behind him while they go down the chute, Sean.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Jamie Hall doing a really, really good job to hang on, but boy, it's going to be really close here. Trupiano really, really pushing just behind him. You've got Rob Olenek there, and Olenek pushing really hard here early.
And not that far behind, Justin Morton is close by as well. It's a little bit of a four-car battle at the moment for P3. And it looks like Jamie Hall doesn't have the speed to create a gap towards the people behind him.
All right, now Riley Thompson at the front of the Audi field now catching the car, one of the Lotus 49. Simon Shaw right in front of him. Now also Rory Collins, who got off to a little bit of a slow start. So we're going to certainly see some interclass battling here real quick. Just about 6 minutes into this.
Yeah, that's really quick. And this is something.
Did Grinnan have a problem? I see he's already in the pit.
Yeah, I see him falling down the order. It's probably a little bit too early to make a pit stop, and I actually see some damage on his front wing.
It was out of the toe. He had trouble out of the toe. Picked up some damage, and I'm going to assume he'll probably opt for the replacement car here at this point, because, like you said, that damage was very heavy on that Lotus 79.
Yeah, exactly. Just lost control. Shame. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He has a new car. He's back out on track. Lost a little bit of position, but he is back out there.
The battle on screen, certainly a good one right here. Clayton McLeod being chased by Michel Rugenbrink. And that is a battle for fourth place.
Yeah, Rugenbrink lost one position out there today. Niklas Snyder, who had a great start, started in 5th position, already made up 2 positions so far, overtaking both McLeod and Rugenbrink. The drivers are very close together.
Tapani doing what Tapani usually does. He's already gapped the field over a second. Seems to be having a pretty good run here so far in his Nissan. I really don't expect much less from him, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's the driver with the highest I rating, over 7,000 out there. The only pro driver that we have in the field. So Tapani Linomoto probably should be in a P1 position out there in the Nissans. Both Tapani Linomoto and Fabian Gerber caught the Audi field last time around. They passed Richard Kuf, who opted to immediately go in to the pit stall. For a pit stop, probably also taking a new car after that crash before the race started. And Michel Rugenbrink, we just talked about him, a little bit behind in P5 in the Nissan category. He's really closing in on Clayton McLeod at the moment.
Okay.
Just 3 tenths back to me.
Really good battle right there. I was watching the Lotus 49 of Rory Collins as Rob Olenek and Andy Trupiano were trying to get around him. And watch them go up through the S's. It's going to be fun.
Jamie Hall in front of them is very close to Philip Lake. Jamie Hall probably will try and move on P2 in the auto category. A great run out of the S's, puts it side by side on the back straight. Easy peasy, he goes past it. Before the carousel seals the deal, Jamie Hall promised himself to P2.
And Jamie Hall driving that Dirty Torque racing sim racing machine, today's sponsor of this event. This is the Dirty Torque 2018 Summer Classic. And good to see him continuing to move up through the field here. And Riley Thompson, he's got a ways to go to catch him. Riley off to about a 2.5-second lead now.
P5 in the Netherlands. Michel Rugenbrink tries on the outside of Clayton McLeod in the carousel and makes it stick. Beautiful move of Michel Rugenbrink there. Finally seeing the deal. He was edging ever so closely to his rival. As we go to a rival of the move, the Dutch driver promotes himself to P4 in the Nissans.
Yeah, we got it on the replay here. How he sets this pass up. The S is one of the trickier places to pull off a pass, but if you get a good run out of that final part of the S's there, boy, you can really scream down that backstretch. And again, without the bus stop to have to deal with right there, in this carousel, there's several different lines you can take through there, but boy, watch him put down the power and get his way by Clayton McLeod. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, to keep the car that well and retain that much speed on the outside, that's impressive. That's a very good move from the Dutch driver, who currently probably has is aiming at Niklas Snyder, who's leading him in P3.
Let's look at the 79s real quick. Right now, Millward is he's falling victim to Ossian Puhaka, who seems to have picked things back up. And Puhaka now closing and getting a really good run out of there. As we ride on board with him, make the trip up the front straight, across the stripe, and down to the 90. Let's see how hard Ossian's going to get on that brake. That looked really gentle through there, actually. Nice line by Ossian Puhaka. Yeah. Certain to be in the toe when they get to the backstretch here.
Exactly, the Finnish driver is right up the gearbox of Millward at the moment. I think that now he will have the draft to make a move in the carousel. No, he's not edging that closely in the S's. I thought that he would close in a little bit quicker.
He did seem to lose a little bit there in the S's, yeah.
Maybe it's we of course run open setups. Maybe Puhaka is running a different setup than Millward. suffering a little bit of understeer there, had to lift a little bit. But yeah,
All right.
I would expect him to close a little bit quicker.
Battle for 6th in the 79s, actually, Jens Roker and Kevin Kolsch. And it looks like Kevin's going to get by him there. Wow, nice move going into the carousel.
Beautiful sliding move there, just slides it past into the next position. Now another battle that's heating up is the one for P1 in the 49 category. Dave Price under heavy pressure of Over Trangerate. This is something we saw last season, Over Trangerate being very quick, but making some mistakes sometimes. He's not making a mistake at the moment. He's driving right in the gearbox of Dave Price, coming out of the assets. These cars do not have a lot of draft, but every little bit will help to put it side by side in the carousel section. He's not going to make
trouble for Andy Trupiano out of the 90. Boy, heavy multi-class traffic. He doesn't hit the barrier. Let's look at this on the replay. It's just a mess going down. Look at all these cars going down to the 90. Trupiano just loses it by himself, actually. There was no contact there. Boy, it does a good job, though, of saving it from that Armco barrier.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a lot of drivers spin there and actually keep it out of the barrier. That's really impressive. It seemed like he wanted to give a little bit of space to the leaders that were passing him. He just lost it going over the concrete on the exit. The battle for P1 overall in the Nissans is heating up as well, as Tupami Linuoto has caught traffic. They're currently going around Ben Laughter, but look at Fabian Gerber. That blue and white machine is just on the gearbox of him. Coming out of the booth section now. It seems like that little piece of traffic has caused Fabian Gerber to lose a little bit of track position. But this gap was over a second, almost 2 seconds a few laps ago. It's just a few tenths as we speak, Sean.
Yeah, and traffic, the great equalizer. And it has definitely slowed Tapani down just a bit. Let's see if Fabian can do something with it. Just behind them in the Nissans, it's Rugenbrink and Schneider still having a pretty good go at it, but again, traffic kind of bringing us in. Boy, watching Schneider trying to get around Ben Laughter here. Laughter gets out of the way, lets him go.
Just a quick look at that move of Rugenbrink that he did on Niklas Schneider again on the outside of the carousel section. It's really his favorite move. So once Michel catches up to maybe the leaders, we have to really keep an eye on every time that he approaches the carousel section, because the outside line in that corner seems to be the favorite.
Oh, Kane Lasky getting tipped. Oh, Manning Grinning trying to get by Kane Lasky. Lasky goes around, able to save it though and get right back to it. Here it is on the replay. Grinning in the purple, Lotus 79. Just a slight bit of, Kane coming back across track right in front of him.
Yeah.
Boy, and Manning having trouble slowing the car down in time. We'll go on board here with Manning Grinning.
Yeah, we see them.
Go ahead.
Not a lot Manning I could do. I think he was already in the braking position, it seems like, and yeah. Unlucky. Luckily, both cars didn't touch the wall, however. Manning Greenland doesn't seem to have any damage. He already used his quick repair earlier in the race and can continue.
Kane actually still sitting in a podium spot. He did not relinquish any spots there. In fact, it's Ben Laughter 8.5 seconds behind him. So Kane, I think he was a little bit fortunate there for him. Ooh, trouble under braking though for him. Watch out.
It's a tricky car to slow down. He at least saves it.
Boy, Mecanos gets by clean. I'm sure that was a code brown there for Nick though for just a second.
Talking about Cole Brown's, Dave Price and Ovi Trangerate are being overtaken left and right in the run to the S's. Now the two leading cars in the 49 are so close together. Ovi Trangerate not able to put a move in the carousel, but these drivers really have to get used to traffic. Of course, the 49 and the 79 normally do not do multi-class. They only have their own cars to really keep an eye on. And suddenly you have quicker Nissans and slower Audis left and right that you have to overtake. That's really making things a lot more interesting out there today.
Boy, I know Ove would just absolutely love to win this race. He's got a lot of work to do, though, man. Dave Price is not going to just give it up to him.
Just quickly going to the Audis. P2 in the Audis. Philip Blake and Jamie Hall are side by side, and behind them Rob Olenek free ride.
Oh boy.
The 79th and Audi. Oh my. And they're making it. Rob Olenek uses the moment to get by Philip Blake even. And go get the P3 position. But I don't know what happened there. These cars, 6 cars went past each other without any crash.
And I will say it again, the very best of the iRacing Retro Series here today. Look at all these guys working together, getting through these turns. Oh boy. Amazing battle going on right here.
Rob Olenek immediately under heavy pressure of Philip Blake. Philip Blake was putting the pressure on Jamie Hall, and because of that traffic, he lost the position instead of gaining one.
You know, we missed Ossian Pahaka getting pot by Alex Millward, but he's back to second, back to chasing Matt Wood, who's only about to half a second in front of him now.
Ossian Pahaka making giant leaps the last time around. As you say, only 5 tenths removed from Matt Wood. They're lapping the traffic car of Richard Morin. Now look at that 49. He just... Richard Morin letting by Ossian Pahaka there, but the top speed of that car is a lot quicker than the 79. Alex Millward tried the move in the carousel section, got cut off. Ossian Pahaka was getting none of that.
Yeah, Millward took a peek, and our leader Matt Wood trying to get cleanly by another Lotus 49 there, Ben Laughter. They managed getting through the toe here. Laughter doing a good job of letting those guys work through. Man, Matt Wood was off to a nice, clean run and had really put a lot of time on the field. But again, we talk about the great equalizer, that traffic slowing him down just a bit. And that has opened the door for Ossian Pahaka now, who's really starting to apply the pressure.
And there's no traffic, it seems like. Well, there's a little bit of traffic. Richard Kioff is just in front of him. They'll probably be catching up to him in the SS section, and that will probably not be very beneficial for Matt Wood if that happens there, because he will probably have to lift them. Oh, these cars catch up tremendously going into turn 1. Matt Wood losing a lot of time there, getting behind past the left car before the SS section though, but this will give Ossian Pahaka a chance going into the carousel, Sean.
All right, so we're not giving enough attention here to the Audis, the beautiful Audis right now. Riley Thompson leading that, but Phil Lake and Rob Olenek going at it.
Alex Millward is trying a move. Yeah, Ossian Pahaka not trying a move on Matt Wood, but is being put on pressure by Alex Millward. Trying the outside line, Ossian Pahaka stays in P2, however. But again, these drivers catch up to traffic. This time it's Kane Lasky, the P3 driver in the 49, who's getting lapped there. All cars being able to single file drive past the 49. Now look at this, 1, 2, and 3 of the 79s under a blanket going through the boot.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it, Johan? Well, okay, all right, let's go back to Riley Thompson up front in the Audis, but the real battle is behind him. It's Jamie Hall, Phil Lake, and Rob Olenek back there really putting the pressure on each other.
Rob Olenek, who lost P3 last lap, this lap to Philip Blake, and Philip Blake immediately putting the pressure on Jamie Hall in the boot section. He's looking on the inside, he's a little bit more courageous under braking, keeps it there. Lotus 79 behind him is looking left and right, but these Audis keeping it side by side, going out of it. This time Jamie Hall is having the inside, he probably has the better run, a little bit of off camber here, hard to put the pressure on, hard to put the front on, oh, but Jamie Hall doesn't get a good run out of there. Philip Blake makes it stick. Gets 2 places in 1 lap and promotes himself from P4 to P2.
Yeah, but look at Kevin Kolsch just mixing it up with him. Kolsch in his Lotus 79. You know what? I never realized how big the Audi was until you put it next to a Lotus 79. It looks huge.
Welcome to multi-class racing, Kevin.
Yeah.
This is what it's about. Another battle that's still heating up, just checking in. Dave Price and Over Triangulate. Look at the two, only a tenth between them at the moment. Over Triangulate actually got past Dave Price last time around. You see what happened. That happened on the run down towards the carousel corner. And immediately Over-Trangerade is creating a little gap to his Lotus 49 rival there.
Well, I said it earlier. Ove certainly probably had this one marked on his calendar. He's looking for a big win today, and if he can just keep it up front now and work well with the traffic, this may be a big day for him. But still, a lot of racing to go. Just under 40 minutes now. It's hard to believe. So much action going on. Hard to believe that we actually got 20 minutes in already. It feels like it's been about 30 seconds.
Well, I can only echo those words, but the most interesting part will start now, or at least another interesting part, which is the pit stops. I think at this period of time, the pit window of each driver are open. So if you are stuck behind the driver, like for example, it's very easy to do in the 49, this might be a good time to maybe make a pit stop. Maybe try an undercut, pass your rivals that way, really getting that strategy aspect into working now. Following Austrian Puhaka through the SS section, behind Matt Wood ever so closely. I have the feeling this is a deja vu because he's this close every lap, it seems like. Enjoying the draft, but just not able to close up, Sean. Not able to close up, get more speed and try and move in the carousel section where, for example, Alex Millward, who has fallen back a little bit, was able to do on Puhaka a few times.
Oh, we got to go to the 49 lead here. Really heating up. Dave Price, Over-Trangerade.
Dave Price showing his nose there on the inside of Over-Trangerade. Over-Trangerade just keeping it on the outside, a little bit more momentum, keeps it there. Now he has the inside. Just drives away better line at the moment than Dave Price. Immediately the traffic is behind him again, getting passed by Liam Quinn. Liam Quinn having a quiet race out there in the 79, currently 8 seconds behind QC Clapp, over 20 seconds in front of, or almost 20 seconds in front of Kevin Kolsche. Currently in P5. Yeah, he's just normally an IndyCar driver, of course. Not really used to the 79s, or at least not driving these 79 cars each week. The Nissan lead is heating up at the same time. Fabian Gerber putting the pressure on Tapani, Lina Lotus, Sean.
Yeah, now Tapani has held on to this top spot since the green flag drop, but Gerber continues to put pressure on him lap after lap after lap. And he is really in the tow now. We could see something exciting happen here. Maybe by the time they get to the front stretch. I think that window, I think they were listening to you, Johan. I think it's opening. Manning Grinnan goes in his Lotus 79, takes a pit stop. Second stop, he did have trouble early and had to take that spare car.
Yeah, that might also be one thing that the drivers might be thinking about, because you want to, of course, that's simple, make as little pit stops as possible. So if you can just do a very long first lap stint, the danger of making a little crash and then being able to take that fast repair at the same time as your pit stop.
Into the 90s. Ooh. Boy, Fabian really thought about trying to take it inside. He backs off just a bit, but he's still right there in the tow as they head up the hill here to the S's.
Will be incredibly courageous to try it while lapping traffic going towards turn 1. But this is a great run Fabian is having. Right in the gearbox of Tapani, passing a Lotus 49. Tapani getting a little bit of draft off him. And that 49 is quick. He's quicker at the moment, it seems like the Nissans, but the Nissans can brake a lot later. Fabian Gerber not able to put it side by side.
And that's the big separator right there, is that Lotus 49 is really going to hit that braking zone a lot earlier. And Shaw just gets dropped because of that. But boy, tell you what, man, little Luuto continues to impress.
I just want to put emphasis on these drivers did a 1:35 last time around. Now that's 5 seconds quicker than slower than a qualifying time. Michel Rugenbrink in P3 gained 2 seconds on the top drivers at the moment, and it seems like he's driving close. He's only 2.5 seconds away from them at the moment. If Michel Rugenbrink is going to keep up this pace and Tapani and Fabian are suffering from traffic, I think there will be a free car battle for the lead in the Nissan soon, Sean.
Richard Keogh doing a good job of getting out of the way. Riley Thompson, the Audi leader, getting passed right here by Mecanos. I'm sorry, by Rugenbrink. Lost my train of thought there for a second. It's just so much. I mean, I feel like I've played a full period at power forward for the New York Rangers.
Stuff are literally happening left and right everywhere. Fabian Gerber once again having a great run through the S's, really close to Tupandi Nuoto, and this time there will not be any traffic on the run down to the carousel corner. Fabian Gerber closing ever so slightly in that draft, having the overdrive, trying a move on the inside, showing his nose there. Tupandi on the outside will be able to keep a little bit more momentum. Fabian with the shorter drive, and he's got it. Beautiful move from Fabian Gerber there going into the chute.
Man, and Gerber with a chance here to actually lead a lap. Nuoto for the first time in this race goes from that top spot. Can Gerber hang on here through the end of the lap as he gets through the toe?
I mean, you would imagine
what a great battle.
Yeah, especially Tupandi Nuoto was 3/10 quicker in qualifying than Fabian Gerber, so he has the speed to be a little bit quicker than his German rival out there. But yeah, I think that Tupandi Nuoto will be closing in, and probably Fabian Gerber will be looking for a little bit of traffic to split these two cars up.
Okay, let's look at the Lotus 79s here for just a moment. Matt Wood has actually started to distance himself from Ossian Puhaka, so things settled down there just a bit. Puhaka was putting on a lot of pressure, but Puhaka right now got to worry himself with Alex Millward back there, who's now just about a second, but Millward just finished fighting through some traffic and maybe with a shot here to get back in the tow. I do see Kevin Kolsch has come in his Lotus 79. This could be the first of pit stops to come here. Kolsch comes in for a quick stop. He's back out on track.
Basically at the halfway point at the moment, only 33 minutes to go. This is really into the pit stop window. Justin Morton coming in as well at the moment from P5 in the Audis. The battle that we were seeing earlier in the race with Philip Lake, Jamie Hall, Rob Olinek. Philip Lake is a little bit removed from the battle at the moment, but Jamie Hall and Rob Olinek are still going at it.
Yes, they are, and they're coming up on the slower Audi of Richard Keogh right now, and Lotus 49 is Simon Shaw just in front of them. This could get interesting really, really quick as they get down to the technical section of this track, down through the chute here. Oh, watch out. Oh, what a great onboard here. On board with Jamie Hall. He's digging, baby. Rob trying to do the best to get there. Oh, Lasky. Kate Lasky.
Spins it around out of the boot section.
Boy, Nicholas Schneider, very lucky to get past him. Hate to see that.
He lost it on his own, it seems like, Sean. And,
yeah, well, you know what? And I'm surprised we haven't seen more there yet today. But this certainly the most challenging turn on the track, if you ask me. And great reflexes there by Schneider.
To keep it at least out of the walls. At the moment, I see another car coming in. That's Simon J. Shaw in the Lotus 49. 49 lead Dave Price again with over Triangulate in the carousel section. Dave Price on the inside there. Having a slightly better run than the Norwegian, but the Norwegian is really strong on the braking. Gets by him again on the inside of the boot corner, and then there is traffic. It's Nicholas Schneider passing both of them.
Yeah, poor Nicholas. He can't get a break right now. Wow.
Nicholas Schneider, of course, trying to close the gap towards Michel Rugenbrink for the P3 position, but at the same time creating a gap towards Clayton McLeod, who's currently in P5 in the Nissans. You look at the gap immediately between Dave Price and Over Triangulate when one car puts himself between the two 49s. We were talking about Rob Olinek and Jamie Hall, who of course are still battling heavily with each other for the P2 position in the Audis. Philip Lake was in that battle as well early in the race. Just quickly to see what happened to Philip Lake, already made his pit stop. He was one of the first cars that went into the pits. So Philip Lake didn't spin or crash out, but he is probably a very good point to keep an eye on. To make an estimation for when Jamie and Rob will come back out on track when they make their pit stop.
Yeah, it's our friend Phil in and around the lake, responsible for putting this this together for everyone. And boy, what an event! A lot of action involved here, and we've just now hit the halfway point. 30 more minutes of intense action, and Nick Mucanos coming into the pits. He's coming down the lane.
Lead for the 49. Dave Price is having a great run out of the S's. One more time, putting it side by side over Trangerade, defending the inside. But Dave Price having a better run, better speed on the outside of the carousel section. He keeps it there over Trangerade, not able to have more speed. And now Dave Price has the inside going into the chute. No traffic to speak of right behind him. Dave Price closes it. Hell has a little bit of trouble keeping it on the apex. Cuts over Trangerade off there, but secures the P1 position once again in the 49s.
Yeah, I'll tell you, two of the great battles we've seen today have been Price, Trangerade, and Gerber and Linalawuto. And they're going to keep. I think they're going to keep trading these spots. It's going to be a race to the pit. Alex Millward just coming out in his Lotus 79. He'll come back out in 5th. Definitely breaks up that battle he had there.
And just taking a quick look at Matt Wood, who already went in, of course. He was right behind QC Clapman. That might help him a little bit, as they're currently on the back straight to get a little bit quicker lap time because he's in the tow. But also, if he's not able to pass the Dutch driver very quickly, he might lose valuable time to Austrian Puhaka, who was, of course, not far away from Matt Wood before the pit stop.
Oh no, Justin Morton, contact with Rob Olenek, and who is that? Manning Grinning getting right through that. Wow, that could have been a major wreck. Everybody seems to straighten things out there at the end.
Wow, what amazing car control of Justin Morton there. Yeah, here as we see in the replay, he just gets turned around on the exit of the carousel, but just look, he gets a little bit punted. He just does a 360.
We got to go on board with Manning Grinning. Watch this here. He goes all the way out to the left, into the grass, avoids the Armco barrier, comes back across, down into the chute. Talk about great reflexes from the Texan. Jeez.
Amazing car control.
And he's still fighting with Rob Olenek. Grinning finally gets by Olenek, clears him, gets back to his own little race, but Olenek really struggling now. It seems to be struggling to get back to pace. Nicholas Schneider gets by him there. I can't catch my breath, Johan.
I mean, we have 4 classes to talk about where stuff is happening every second of the race. Currently, I'm looking a quick look at the Nissan lead. Fabian Gerber, who of course had a great move from Topani Linarotto. He had the speed. Topani Linarotto not quick enough to close the gap to the German driver. Currently a 2.6 second gap between them. Although Topani Linarotto is a little bit quicker and catching up to the German driver. But Fabian Gerber doing a great job out there once he has clean air, leading that pack of Nissan. So,
boy, and gotta go to the Lotus 49 here as Kevin Kolsch comes by. I'll tell you what, our leader Ove Trengrade, or I'm sorry, not our leader, currently Ove in second, but boy, this battle intense here is he tries to catch Dave Price. He's reeling him in. Ove going for the move.
Beautiful. You can see how quick these 49s are. Oh, he really loose on the braking for the carousel, but he makes it sick. Gets past left and right like Ricardo Santa. 1 Nissan on the left, 179 on the right, and Dave Price immediately puts it on the outside of the first corner in the boot section. Side by side, who's the first driver on throttle? It is Dave Price. Dave Price quicker, has the inside now, makes it stick. Beautiful move, beautiful awareness of Dave Price to use the traffic, use the fact that Trangerade was overtaken to retake that P1 position.
Boy, these two have really got something special going today. What a race. Oh, Tapani is in.
Yeah, making his pit stop with 25 minutes to go. This is a perfect moment to come in, fill up your car, focus on making it to the end.
Matt Wood continues to hold off Liam Quinn. Now Matt got his pit stop in a couple laps ago. Quinn still needing that stop. Price is coming in. Ove going to keep it out there for now.
I mean, that's probably one of the most, maybe a smart move to do if you want to go for that win. Try an overcut. Try to do a few laps on your own. See if you can be a little bit quicker than your rival and really make the difference that way.
Well, as the pit stops start to fall, some of these battles start to separate themselves. But, you know, as cars come back out on track, like I said, that pit exit, very, very tricky, Johan, because you come right back out into traffic there at the mouth of the S's.
Yeah, especially, but we haven't seen a lot of problems there. One thing I was quickly looking at is why Rob Oliniak left a battle with Philip Blake and Jamie Hall. That was battling really heavily for the P2 position in the Audis. Rob Oliniak, who was of course involved with that beautiful car-controlled spin of Justin Morton, decided to go to the pits one lap after he made his regular pit stop, probably to take a new car and back out there, but currently in P8, and that's a shame for Rob Oliniak, who was battling so beautifully and so hard for the P2 position.
Okay, Michel Rugenbrink is in his stop now in the box getting serviced.
I'll probably come out a few seconds behind. Tepani Luoto was around 5 seconds behind the Finnish driver at the moment he made his pit stop. Seems to be increased a little bit, huh? Rugenbrink still on his pit stop. Yeah, maybe he decides to take tires or something, or maybe he had a little bit of damage because this is a long pit stop.
Really is. That's going to really cost him. There's Ove Trengrade getting his machine in.
Oh, let's see where Dave Price is. Dave Price is currently on the run out of the boot section, but Dave Price was just overtaken by Liam Quinn and Alex Millwall. A little bit of traffic that will probably mean that Dave Price has a slower lap time. Over Trengrade still getting his fuel, his car refilled. Dave Price with one more corner to go out of the track.
Yeah, this will be fun to watch here. Dave out of the final turn, screaming down the straightaway. Ove rolling.
Side by side, literally side by side. Now Dave Price will have a little bit more speed coming out of this corner, and even though Ove Trengrade has track position, if you can just keep...
Johan Ove does a great job of getting off a pit exit there. Man, he really got out quick. But here comes Dave Price. He's starting to close just a little bit. You see him back there in the distance.
Currently just a few tenths, maybe a second between the two. No, I think that's enough to stay between them. Luckily for us, Dave Price and Ove Trengrade didn't get split up in the pit stalls because, boy, these guys have been fighting tremendously out there.
Ove sliding it through there. Ove loves to get to all four of those wheels drifting at times. Boy, but Dave really starting to reel him in here out of the toe.
I just want a quick update to Michel Rugenbrink, our old P3 driver in the Nissan class. He's currently 1 minute and 7 seconds behind Fabian Gerber. I just quickly calculate, he's 30 seconds behind Tepani Luoto. I thought, if I remember correctly, that the gap between the Finnish driver and the Dutch driver was only 5 seconds at the pit stop. So Michel Rugenbrink losing close to or more than 20 seconds at the pit stop. I'll be surprised where he is once other people like Niklas Schneider and Clayton McLeod make their pit stop, because I think that Michel might have lost a lot more than just time. He might have also lost some positions during that pit stop.
Okay, now quick update on the Lotus 79s. Ossian Pohaka has not taken his stop yet, and Matt Wood looks to try and claim that top spot when Ossian comes in. The distance between those two right now, just about 30 seconds. And, well, the bogey on the pit stops has been just about 30 seconds. So, well, we're coming up on another great pit exit battle with these two here soon. As soon as Pohaka goes to it, we'll get it when we'll pick it up when it comes back. Let's look at the 90s real quick, because the Audis, we haven't paid a lot of attention to recently. It's still Riley Thompson in the lead. Really good command of this race so far. You see the distance between him and Phil Lake there, almost 7 seconds. Both have completed their pit stops, and a little bit different strategy for both drivers there.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the last lap times. Philip Blake did a 45 last time around, but the 2 laps before that he did 46s. Low 46s, 46s nevertheless. Riley Thompson is steady as a rock in the 45s. I think that Riley Thompson has the speed and at the moment also the track position to seal that P1 position in the Audi class. But Sean, as we've seen today, you still have the traffic to worry about, which can play a huge factor out there.
And oh, there we go. Fabian Gerber's in. The first of our Nissan leaders to come on in. Well, no, I'm sorry. That's Tapani had already come in.
At the same time, I saw that QC Clapp have a little bit of trouble coming out of the boot. He tried to make a pass on Rob Oliniak, lost it under braking, put his car into the wall, has some damage. Ooh, I see. Alex.
Okay. Well, obviously, Millward having trouble there. Watching Little Luto on screen here. Fabian Gerber still in his stall. Wonder what's going on there.
Maybe he's having the same thing as Michel Rugenbrink. Michel Rugenbrink also had like a really long pit stop.
Yeah.
Alex Millward, who's currently still sitting in the pits as we go to a replay of what just happened to him. Let's see.
You know what? He's going to miss it. He's going to hit the transition back to the track in the wrong spot. He's going to ride right over the center of the curb here. Boom. Sends the car around into that Armco barrier. Heavy damage.
Hitting Liam Quinn in the process. Liam Quinn doesn't seem to have a lot of damage because of that. He seems to have a slight knock on his front wing, but not a lot of damage.
How scary was this for Quinn? Jeez. Yes.
I thought they launched like rockets in Florida, not in New York. But
well, Quinn is in. That's his first stop. So go ahead and use that spare car. No sense in hanging on to it there. 17 and a half minutes to go. It's time to dig. Decisions to be made here.
Just want to take a look at Tipani, Lina Luoto, and Fabian Gerber. Look at the gap between them at the moment. 8 seconds between the two drivers. Fabian Gerber as well had a very bad pit stop compared to the Finnish driver. Now Fabian, of course, was very quick at the end of his stint. Several seconds he made up to Tapani once he got free air. Might be able to close the gap to the Finnish driver, but with only 16 minutes to go, Sean, that's a heavy duty, making up 8 seconds to Tapani.
Oh, Richard Keogh, trouble on his lid. Trouble getting down to the chute. And looks like a little bit of contact there between Clayton McLeod and Richard Keogh. This is not going to end well. Both into the Armco barrier. Look at that. Boy.
Contact. Clayton McLeod going for trying to make a pass on the outside, but I don't think that there was room to make a pass there. Just flipped the Audi on his roof.
Well, you know, Clayton still hadn't taken his pit stop yet. Oh, you see the contact there. Boy, Richard Keogh really getting the worst of that. Clayton McLeod sure to have to take his spare car. Heavy damage on that Nissan. McLeod making his way into the pits now with Fabian Jungluth.
That sends Tapani Lineroto back to P2 overall. Only Niklas Schneider still having to make his pit stop. Currently 17 seconds in front of the Finnish driver.
Boy, I'll tell you what, things looking good here for Tapani. Nice little multi-class battle there. Boy, the 2018 Summer Classic has not disappointed today, Johan, has it?
Absolutely not, because I'm still thinking about which battles we have for the lead now. At the moment, over the Trangerate is letting a car pass. Who was that? It was the car of John Keevan and Nissan. He almost put his Lotus 49 in the Armco barrier there in the SS section. last time around when he went over the start-finish line, he wasn't that far away of Dave Price. Only a few seconds between the two at the moment.
Okay, Puhaka is in. Let's pick up where Matt Wood's at on track.
Matt Wood, the penultimate corner at the moment. I think he should have it.
Yeah.
Although Puhaka is already going.
Yes, he's rolling. He is. Yes, a quick stop for Puhaka.
Oh, the Finnish driver 100% has him because he's coming out and Matt Wood is going over the start-finish line.
Wow.
He's now... if I count, it's something like a 6-7 second gap at the moment between P1 and P2 in the 79.
What a great stop for Puhaka. You see this on screen here. Yep. All right. Puhaka obviously in command of the lead now in the Lotus 79s. Everybody there taking their pit stop. Trend still fighting for that first place spot in the Lotus 49s. Both of these cars have made their stops. It's going to be an all-out war here to the finish between Dave Price and Ove Trendgrade.
Dave Price, who has to let Fabian Jungbloed go past there in turn 1, and that gives him a sub-optimal line going through the S's. Over Trendgrade edging ever so closely. I think he made up half a second or something last lap around. 2 tenths, a little bit less, but still, the Norwegian driver edging ever so closely to the English driver.
And really, there's still just a few cars on track that have not made their stop yet. Nicholas Schneider, it's all the Nissans. Nicholas Schneider, John Keefe, they're the last two. They are still holding out, going on 30 laps. Schneider, go ahead,
Schneider coming in. Yeah, Schneider coming in, as you said it. Really wishing that he heard you.
He's obviously listening to the broadcast. That's okay. We don't fault him for it.
It'll be interesting to see where Schneider will come back out on track, because of course he was behind Ruggenbrink before the Dutch driver made his pit stop. Ruggenbrink is still driving only in P8. He's lost a lot of time in his pit stop. Ooh, but Schneider misses his pit stall, it looks like.
And that is going to hurt. That is really going to hurt. Tapani Lilowoto back to the lead. Fabian Gerber almost 9 seconds behind him. He'll take second. Schneider still there in his box.
Keefe passing him at the moment, but I think that Keefe still has to make a pit stop.
He does. John Keefe, the last car on track, needing a pit stop. I'll tell you what, let's make an attempt to go through the top 5 here real quick. In the Nissan class, you have Tapani Lilowoto back to the lead now, followed by Fabian Gerber. John Keefe, of course, we know still needs a pit stop, so expect him to lose that podium position when Nicholas Schneider, who is currently in 4th, and Fabian Jungbluth in 5th, pass him. So we'll see how that goes. Now, that's the top 5 in the Nissans. Johan, why don't you go ahead and take the Lotus 79s real quick?
Yeah, Ossie and Puhaka had a great stop and he is currently leading the 79 field. But Matt Wood isn't that far behind. Just a few seconds between the two drivers at the moment. Liam Quinn, even though he got hit by the flying car of Alex Millward, is in P3 in the 79 class in front of Kevin Kolsche. Kevin Kolsche currently in P4, and Jens Ruger is the last driver in the top 5 in the 79. Sean?
Okay, it's Dave Price for now in the Lotus 49s because Ove Trendgrade's still, in fact, dealing with some traffic right now. It's Kevin Kolsch in his Lotus 79 in the middle of that battle. Ove Trendgrade still in second and may not be there long. We'll see. He lets Jens Roker get by. And then we'll go back to third. It's Kane Lasky. Lasky, who has had his trouble in this race, right now deals with a clean car and a podium finish. If he could just hang on to it, because Ben Lafter is about 14 seconds behind in 4th currently. And that's going to be tough to pick up here as we get into the closing 10 minutes of this race. Richard Morin nailing down a top 5 spot right now.
Well, in the Audis, it's still Riley Thompson leading the battle, leading the field at the moment, currently 4 or 5 seconds in front of Philip Lake. Philip Lake, who has made quite a good run out there, created a gap towards Jamie Hall, who's currently in P3, something like 6 seconds between the two drivers. Andy Trupiano, we were talking about him at the beginning of the broadcast, is currently a little bit in no man's land, although he's not that far in front of Justin Morton, who recovered from his earlier spin quite well, and only 2-3 seconds behind P4 in the Audi class at the moment.
Oh, and Treadgrade making a run at Price. We go back to the Lotus 49s here. Oh, he tried to take a look at him in the carousel, really closed up. Here we go, down to the chute. Great passing opportunity here if you can make it. Not close enough to get it done as they head down to the toe. Exciting moments to come here for these two with 9 minutes left to go.
It's a difficult place to really make a pass here for Ovid Trangrade. This is probably the part where you try to follow and make a move on the start-finish straight, or probably on the back straight. But look at how close he is, diving into the gearbox of Dave Price there. He's hugging the apex well, having a little bit of more speed. Dave Price on the throttle earlier though. It will help him here. You can see how Over Trangrade is braking his Lotus 49 car, just drifting it to slow down. In the penultimate corner, in the last corner, now it's currently not helping him that much. He's losing a little bit of ground to Dave Price as they get overtaken by John Keefe in the Nissan. John Keefe trying to make a 2-in-1 braking zone. He does, and that hurts Dave Price.
Ove trying to take advantage of that. Notes from the peanut gallery, the heads are disappearing. Well, that's kind of not a GSRC thing. It's kind of an iRacing thing, but that's all right. They'll get it straightened out hashtag soon. Here we go.
Over Trangrade is lining up a move on Dave Price. Dave Price defending the inside. Over Trangrade elects to take the outside of the carousel one more time, side by side. But he doesn't get it slowed down properly. Dave Price trying to cut back in front of him. Over Trangrade doesn't have the speed to try and move in the boot. Doesn't have the speed. No, he takes a look, but not able. Dave Price loses the apex though. He gives him too much room. Has a great run out of the corner though. Over Trangrade looks twice, but twice not able to make it stick.
Man, this is as spicy as a ghost pepper, man. These two are really, really giving us a show. It's not the only battle on track, folks, but it really is the best one right now. Jungbluth and McLeod up in their Nissans are battling it out, but not like these two are. We keep look at them. Really, Jungbluth under big threat here for McLeod.
And with a little bit of traffic in front of them, that's Liam Quinn. He'll probably be able to pass the 79 before the carousel corner. McLeod in the draft of Jungbluth. There's another car. It's the 49 of Rory Collins. Clayton McLeod putting heavy pressure on the German Jungbluth there.
Yeah, and then you've got Liam Quinn right behind him in his Lotus 79, man. He's trying to hang on to a podium position. He's got to be careful. And put McLeod all up the gearbox right now of Fabian Jungbluth.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the gap between them. There's one car width between them once they finish the braking zone in the corner. Clayton McLeod really lining himself up for a move next lap around. But this is the time that he has to make the move because there's only 6 minutes left. There's probably 4 laps or maybe 5 laps left for either drivers.
Maybe about 5, yeah. Okay, we're going to go back to Dave Price and Ove Treadgrade. Those two continuing to dig at it.
Getting passed by Osio and Puhaka. Both of them suffering a little bit because of that in their line through the boot section. Ove Treadgrade so strong on the braking though. Catches right up to Dave Price, but not able to put it side by side.
Listen, I'm going to just be completely blunt here. Dave Price is driving his ass off right now to hold off Ove Treadgrade. I went a little blue on us. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to bring the room down.
Well, that's something that we have seen the whole season. Dave Price, of course, in the last Monza race in the 49 Championship, had a beautiful race. Finished P2 by only half a tenth behind the leader. Yeah, he hasn't won a race, I think, last season in the 49 championship. So he really is trying to take revenge in the week 13 race. But at the moment, as you can see, look at how big that car is from the view of Overtrangerate. Overtrangerate knows better than that to try and move in the first corner. He knows that the best opportunity is in the carousel. He has a great run out of the first corner. Up the S's. Hucks it there, gets a little bit closer, takes a little bit more speed. Dave Price goes on the throttle a little bit earlier. Steps away a little bit, but Overtrangerate hits that second apex really well. Over the hill, there's a little bit of lap traffic. That's Tapani Luotu passes them. That will hurt them, I think, because Overtrangerate doesn't have the momentum now to make a pass. Oh, it brakes really late!
Oh, no! Keep it out of the tire barrier, he does. Talked about him liking to drift. Oh, Fabian Jungbluth around. No, we'll go to we'll get back to that Overtrangerate here, though. We're watching. He gets it all the way out there, just misses the line of the carousel. Now we can pick up this replay of Fabian Jungbluth. Big mistake from Jungbluth there.
Just too much speed into turn one. Like Clayton McLeod was putting pressure on him for the past 5-10 minutes. And it finally happened. That pressure cracked Fabian Jungbluth. And he is probably still in front of Nicolas Mukanis, but not by a lot.
Now only about 3 seconds separate those two now in the closing laps of this race. Oh, Jens Roker having some trouble. Big trouble for Roker. Oh, man. This car is going to go for a big tumble here. There you go, Jens on the outside coming through what is, I said, one of the scariest turns on this track, and boy, he goes for a wild ride. Oh. Go on board Tripiano here, check his view of it, just trying to stay out of the way. He is just going to miss that. I think he did probably pick up a little bit of damage.
Probably. There was absolutely nothing that he could do to avoid that car anymore.
Wow. Boy, just a couple laps left to go, man, and it ends like that for him. Lil Lewuto, really the class of the Nissans here. No big surprise. He's been awful good today. He's got himself a pretty good gap now on Fabian Gerber. Just got to ride this thing out here to the finish.
Yeah, there's a 13-second gap between the two drivers at the moment. Tapani Lewuto, who was a master of pit strategies, it seems like. At least he really made the difference between those two pit stops. He's really enjoying that gap at the moment. Same can be said for Ossian Puhaka, who had a great strategy and really created a gap towards Matt Wood with pit strategies.
Yeah, and I really thought that was going to be a big battle after the pit stops, but Puhaka with a little bit of magic has a great stop and has, since that stop, has been just flawless and managed the traffic very, very well. So hats off to him. It looks like he's going to get a big victory here today at Watkins Glen, but nothing is over yet. We still have a minute and a half to go here in the 2018 Summer Classic.
And with that mistake that we saw Overtrangerate make in the 49, we thought the battle for P1 was over. Well, the Norwegian says, no, it's not over. There's currently only 1 second between him and Dave Price. With only 2 more laps to go, I think, for the 49s, once they just cross the start-finish line. I think that Overtrangerate will get 1 more chance for the P1 position, Sean. 1
more chance. Amazing how he's able to recover and get this shot to fight with Dave Price here, which looks like there's maybe just under 2 laps to go right now. We'll keep our eyes on this. Trangrade really trying to take a bite out of the apple here into the carousel. He's drifted it through. Oh, no. Price almost loses the spot. Price has trouble getting through the carousel. Ove Trangrade, man, was just drifted it through that carousel. Now down into the chute.
Dave Price had a horrible run through the carousel there. Lost almost half a second to Overtrangerate there, and yeah, they immediately caught up to his rear now. And he has 1.5 more laps. Going through the boot now. This is not where you tried your moves before, Overtrangerate. Probably trying to... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think they're going to make it to the line with 1 to go. Ove is going to get 1 last shot, 1 last lap. The white flag is out. Tapani Lewuto in charge. short of a little battle that he had earlier, it's been clean and green for him. This battle continues on in the Lotus 49s. Ove just getting everything he can out of the car here, Johan.
He's really using every millimeter of track he has available to himself, because now the duo crosses the start-finish line and there's one more lap to go. He needs a good run out of this corner, out of turn 1 to try and move in the car, so he slides it in beautifully, hits the apex, goes a little bit wide. Dave Price seems a bit cleaner going towards the SS. Dave Price, is a little bit far away, a few tenths behind him, but look at Ove Trangerate. It seems like he's really keeping the throttle better on than Dave Price does. But I think this is too far away, Sean, to really try and move.
Our leader in the Nissans, Tapani Littleluto, getting out of the heel. He'll have just a couple more turns left. Ossi and Puhaka right behind him. These two classes going to finish 1 and 1 actually. Tapani leads him through turn 10, now down to turn 11. The 2018 Summer Classic has been exactly that, a classic. Tapani Littleluto will be your winner in the Nissans. Ossi and Puhaka tries to make it really close there at the line. He'll finish first in the Lotus 79s. Where are we at here with the 49s?
Yeah, the 49s are getting split up by traffic. First it was Niklas Snyder, now it's Clayton McLeod. Clayton McLeod trying to move on the outside of Dave Price. That will hurt Dave Price. They will go over Trangerate. Look at him, he immediately closes up under braking. Only 2 more corners to go over Trangerate. Can try it here on the inside. He doesn't try to. Takes it really close on the inside. 1 more corner to go. Dave Price, only 1 more corner over Trangerate. Takes a look on the inside. Doesn't make it stick. Dave Price gets earlier on the throttle. Doesn't get under pressure of over Trangerate. He takes a look, but it's Dave Price taking home the victory in the 49s.
Thank you, gentlemen, for just a great battle to follow all race. Let's go to Riley Thompson and his Audi. Riley's still making his way around here. Now coming down to the heel. He's got a whale of a lead right now on Phil Lake. I say a whale of a lead. It's only about a second and a half, but Phil going to be really, really challenged to pick this up. He is definitely going to have to go in and around the lake to catch him.
I don't think Riley Thompson is gonna be put under pressure in the last 2 corners.
Yeah, Riley's...
go ahead.
I was just going to say, he's just been really, really strong in this race. Here he comes.
He has survived 60 minutes of driving in the Audi and he takes home the victory. Leading, I think, from start to finish, putting on a dominant display. Riley Thompson taking home the victory in the Audis out there today.
You know what? I am just amazed at the lack of contact and incidents we had in this race. It was flat out racing from the drop of the green flag. A lot of fun, but it's time to take a break. We've got to catch our breath for just a moment, compose ourselves, and then come back and give you the full results of the 2018 Summer Classic, brought to you by Dirty Torque Racing here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the 2018 Summer Classic, brought to you by Dirty Torque Sim Racing, right here on the Global SimRacing Channel. If you missed this, I would encourage you to spend the afternoon, go back and watch this race. If you're just tuning in, wow, did you miss out? This has certainly been a classic. Let's look at the results, starting with Tapani Linalauto, our big winner here, the Finn. He puts it on the field. Fabian Gerber will finish second. Nicholas Schneider with a great day, actually, and he'll finish on the podium in third. Clayton McLeod just off the podium in fourth. Fabian Jungbluth, that long pit stop he had really hurt him. He finishes in fifth. Nick Bucano, sixth. Seventh to Michelle Rugenbrink. And John Keefe going to finish eighth.
Ossian Puhaka getting the win out there in the Lotus 79 today. Beating Matt Wood. Now, there was an interesting thing that happened in the pit stops. I want to talk to both of them kind of after the race, because, man, that was a really exciting battle out there. Liam Quinn taking home the third podium position in the 79s today, just in front of Kevin Kolsch. Jens Rugger comes home in P5 in the 79s, just in front of QC Clapp and Manning Grinnen, the last car on the lead lap. Alex Millward a little bit behind, was the only car in the 79s that didn't finish out there today.
All right. I don't see Dave Price or Ove Trengrade in for an interview, and one or two of them, they both need to get in. I want to talk about that battle, either one of them. Price edges out Trengrade, and will, boy, what a podium. Kane Lasky, who had an up and down day, still hangs on to third to complete the podium. Ben Laughter finishing fourth. Richard Morin sixth. And as we move down through the field here, you see Riley Thompson, your big winner in the Audis, followed by Phil in and around the lake. And boy, with a late charge, he made it interesting, but still second place. And as we go down here, you see, let's see, we've got Simon Shaw. He finishes 23rd overall, 15th in class. And, or I'm sorry, 23rd overall. Jamie Hall, 24th overall. And you know what? A good day for Jamie, completing the podium. Rory Collins back there. He'll finish, 25th overall. Andy Trupiano, an interesting day for him. You know, he was just short. It was for a little bit of bad luck. He'd have probably been on that podium, and he survives quite a bit to finish fourth. Fifth, going to go to Justin Morton. Luis Emerton in sixth. David Rolfe in seventh. Rob Olenek with an 8th place finish. And the rest of the field here, Alex Millward, who was having a really great battle, and it all ended, unfortunately, for him. He'll finish 8th in class, 21st overall. Richard Keogh will finish 9th and 10th in the final car in the field. Stefan Schlacher actually didn't get off the line there when we got started. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and get Tapani Linalauto in here. He's been waiting. Tapani, congratulations. The 2018 Summer Classic is in the books, and you win this thing. It was a hard-fought battle, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was the pit stop that made it. I'm not sure why Fabian took so long in the pits. Did he take penalty or just wrong fuel tactics? But everything went well for me, and it was a good thing I pitted a bit early because my tires were going at that point. So
yeah,
it was interesting.
Let's talk about the tires real quick, because it was really hot on track today. At what point did they really start to go away from you?
Well, there's no like a sudden drop off. They just lose a bit of grip lap after lap, and at a high speed track like Watkins Glen, it's the tire wear is quite a good amount. So I couldn't drive 1 hour on the same tires. It would be really interesting.
Well, listen, we talked about it at the very end of the race. Just, it was amazing the lack of incidents in this race. You all four classes put on a tremendous race and really avoided making heavy contact with each other. Why do you think that was today, that we had such a great clean race?
Well, everybody was very thoughtful, gave space, and I didn't see any problems with the traffic at all.
Well, Tapani, congratulations on winning the 2018 Summer Classic. It's been a great event. We were talking during the break that maybe you guys should do this every week, but I don't know if I have enough breath in my lungs to handle that if we did that every week.
Yeah, it was a really nice experiment, and I think the 4 classes fit together quite well.
All right, buddy. Anybody you'd like to thank real quick before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks, Mom, for bringing me to this world.
All right. And always good thing to thank the mom. Tapani, we'll see you soon, buddy. Congratulations.
Cheers.
And cheers to Tapani Linalauto. Now I'm going to let Johan talk to Ossian Puhaka, who put on quite a race himself.
Yeah, Ossian, congratulations out there. You grabbed the win in the Lotus 79. How was it out there for you today?
Boring. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It was difficult. I woke up 45 minutes before the race, and then I had to do my stream stuff. So I had to do my stream stuff correctly. So I didn't really have time to practice, and I was more surprised than anybody else when I got the pole. And I had too much wing on the car, and I had everything wrong. But for some reason, I won anyway. So it was a surprising result, but not a disappointing one.
One of the things you just say, you had too much wing on the car. Was that really the reason why it was so difficult for you? Because sometimes on the broadcast, it seemed like it was very difficult for you, especially after the S's going into the carousel. It was so difficult for you to put it side by side to another car. You just had the wrong setup out there for Watkins?
Maybe. Setup felt good. It was obviously a good setup for qualifying. As I screwed up the last corner, lost 4/10 there, and still got the pole. But it was not a good setup for the race, it seems. So I should have had a little bit less wing, a little bit more straight line speed. It was a source of most of my troubles, yes. But thankfully, I found out later on that the fuel strategy saved me.
Yeah, because that's really where it seemed like you made the difference, because you came out so far in front of Matt Wood. Do you know what happened? What kind of strategy did you have out there today to really create that gap towards Matt?
Well, I can answer that question pretty honestly and say that those guys were probably running the race 50-50 on fuel. So they were planning to take the pit stop halfway through, whereas I just took full tank of fuel and went as long as the fuel would last. And then I would have to refuel less. I would have a shorter pit stop, and I would also have a faster car during the phase when they took the extra fuel into the car, because the new tires are not really a big thing with this car. They don't really matter that much. So you can't really... Always the best strategy if you have to refuel with this car is to refuel as late and as little as possible. And the overcut is really OP in this car, really. The overcut worked really well. And even though I wasn't able to get good laps in, I was actually struggling quite a lot, both with my driving and with the traffic during the phase when I was supposed to make out the gap. I was still, with a conservative pit stop and taking everything easily, I was able to come out 5 seconds ahead. So that was just strategy.
Well done with the fuel strategy, at least. You just mentioned the traffic. One last question. How was the traffic out there for you? Was it difficult in the 79? Because normally you don't have, well, other car classes to worry about. Now you have 3 other cars on track at the same time. How was that for you, for your perspective?
Relatively easy. I'm used to dealing with multi-class traffic because I drive a GDE sometimes, and I have some experience from multi-class racing, which I don't think many of the other guys in the historic series have. They are historic racers, whereas I'm a bit of a jack of all stats. Of course, Lotus 79 is my best car, but I'm able to drive pretty well in traffic with other cars. The traffic was really good. Special thanks go to the Lotus 49 guys who were just... They understood that they were faster on a straight line, so they were helping you each and every time. They were giving me lots and lots of space into the corner entries. Same with the Audis. And the Nissans too, when they came by, they understood that they were faster on a straight line, so they waited until there. And the traffic was really good. There was maybe one situation where Audi cut in front of me in turn number 1, and I lost a bit of time. But that was more of a miscommunication than anything, because I didn't really commit to the corner as such. I was trying to take a better entry line and just pass him on the apex, but I think he was waiting or something. So that was the only problem. But aside from that, the traffic was really, really, really good. So thanks to all those guys.
Well, very good to hear. Well, once again, congratulations with your win out there, Ossian. And well, we hope to see you back very soon.
Thank you very much, Johan. Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Amjad. Whoa, getting tongue-tied there. And thanks to the GSRC crew for a wonderful broadcast, and Philip Lake for the race.
Awesome. Well, there was Ossian Puhaka getting the win out there in a Lotus 79. Now, in the meantime, Sean, you have caught up with another driver.
Another winner, Riley Thompson. Riley, what a race, man. That was exciting. The Audis, an interesting race for you guys. Great job battling traffic. I got to ask you one thing. First, again, congratulations. But did you ever realize that the Audi was so much bigger than the Lotus 79?
Yeah, at one point, there was one 49 guy that I was behind for a few laps and ended up saying it was cute over the radio because of how small he was compared to me.
I just, the Audi is just a huge car. What is it like wheeling it around Watkins Glen?
It's definitely something else. You've got to make sure you keep your momentum up the whole time and make sure you don't hit that wall coming out of the S's because that'll ruin your race in an instant.
Man, I don't want to say the race was easy. You made it look easy, though, until the very end, and Phil Lake put a little pressure on you.
Yeah, fuel calc, I guess. We came to the line to take the white flag with 0 remaining on the clock, but I guess it hadn't accounted for we hadn't been lapped again yet, and so basically had to save a whole another lap's worth out of the end.
So, Riley, do you think you could do this every week?
Hope so.
All 4 cars, or all 4 classes?
Probably not, but hope so.
I'll tell you what, it was a great race. You put on a heck of a show for us today. Who would you like to thank?
Total Downforce Racing, Black Box, and Phil for putting this whole thing on and being a great guy to battle against week in, week out.
What are your plans for season 3, Riley?
GTO.
All right. And we will be seeing you every Sunday then, hopefully, or I'm sorry, every Saturday. And we look forward to seeing you real soon as next weekend. So again, congratulations, buddy. And we'll see you in a week.
Thank you.
All right. That is Riley Thompson. And looks like Ben Laughter is next. And Johan has caught up with him.
Ben, welcome in the booth. P4 out there today. Now, normally you drive the Audi. Is this a move that you're going to make more often, the 49? How did you like it out there today?
I've been lurking on that 49 for a while. I've done a little bit of practice in it, but I've never been brave enough to race it. So this is my first attempt. I feel like I did okay, but it was pretty apparent that top 3, they would have all had to end up in a fireball for me to even contend.
Well, you did great out there, and like we said, you finished P4 out there. Now, tell us a little bit. What are the most biggest differences as an Audi expert? What kind of difference do you mostly see between the 2 cars?
Well, that's the mid-corner grip, or specifically the lack of mid-corner grip in this Lotus is its biggest challenge as compared to the Audi. With the Audi, as soon as you get it turned in, once you get that initial bite, man, it's all just about managing, a little bit of opposite lock and handling the throttle off corner. With this 49, you've got to be on your toes every single centimeter of that turn, or it'll die.
Well, you survived out there. You got P4 in the process. Now, one thing that I wanted to talk about is traffic. We just heard Ossian say that especially the Lotus 49 drivers did a great job in traffic. How was it from your perspective? How difficult was it to drive a car that's that quick in a straight line where you have 2 classes that are way quicker over a lap?
Oh, it's bananas, especially a car that's got sombreros for brakes. I mean, this thing doesn't stop. Yeah. But yeah, it's nuts to be able to pass these more modern machines. It's funny to call the Kamel cars modern, but from that perspective, it's funny to be able to monster them on the straights and then have to brake 100 meters before them. It's nuts. But I think if anybody had it easy for multi-class, it was probably the 49s. We've got great visibility. And then you have the fact that we're basically the same pace as the fast Audis. And so I never even saw, the vast majority of the Audis.
Interesting. Now, one question before I let you go back and enjoy that good P4 result that you scored out there today. what about your sponsor next season in the Kamel GT? What will you be rocking on your car there?
Oh, the intrigue. Actually, just yesterday we released our teaser video. It's the Sega Genesis. So I put together a little video, and me and Mike went around and ran some laps and took some good footage. So you guys might check that out.
Beautiful. Well, we'll be looking forward to see that on track again next season.
Yeah, Sega does everything Nintendo don't.
Oh,
oh, wow. And on that note, Ben Laughter, thank you for talking with us. Congratulations with P4 out there, and we'll see you again next week in the Kamel GT.
Yeah, you bet, guys. Thanks again for a great broadcast.
That was Ben Laughter. Now, in the meantime, Sean, you've caught up with another driver.
I have, but man, we had such a good interview going there with him, and he had to close with that. I mean, come on, man. We're gonna talk to John Keefe real quick. Keefe, I'll tell you what, man, great racing out there today. Now, you finished 8th in the Nissans, but just tell us how much fun you had real quick.
Well, I didn't get beat by 79. It was actually a concern going in. So I was happy to finish last in class. But I can't thank Phil Blake enough for putting this on. And huge hats off to the Lotus camps for handling the multi-class aspect really well. This kind of fun should be illegal or require a permit.
Well, listen, John, thank you so much for hanging out, coming in for an interview. Real quick, what are your plans for season 3?
Definitely Kamel, and I'm trying to figure out if I want to do IndyCar or the Le Mans Endurance Series. I'm trying to weigh those two out, but definitely back in Kamel for another season.
All right, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Saturday here on the Global SimRacing Channel. John, great day, lots of fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Absolutely, Sean. Good work, and talk to you soon.
Our thanks to John Keefe. Johan, it's time to talk to the man who put this all together. Phil, in and around the lake, is with us. I'll let you start off with him.
Yeah, because before we really want to talk a bit about the event, I just want to talk with Philip about his race. Because Philip, he had such a beautiful battle out there with Jamie and Rob Olinek. Tell us a little bit about how that was for you out there in the Audi in this multi-class field.
Oh yeah, this race was a lot of fun, and I've been practicing all week with those guys because we all run on the same team. So yeah, it was a lot of fun racing with them.
But at the end, you got so close to Riley Thompson. Are you happy with P2, or are you thinking like, oh, just so close to that victory, I could almost taste it?
Yeah, I on the last lap when he was dropping back towards me, and I was thinking, starting to think he was out of fuel. And I know how painful that is. So part of me wanted to win, and part of me wanted him to make it to the line. But yeah, congrats to Riley.
Well, Phil, you put in a lot of work putting this event together. I think the community is pretty satisfied with what went down today. You feel a little bit of satisfaction coming away from this with such a positive result, a positive outcome for most of these drivers today?
Yeah, really happy. It looks like everybody had a pretty clean race. I haven't watched it back. Can't wait to. But yeah, super happy with the way it turned out.
You want to do this every week? Because we're on board.
I don't know about every week. It'll definitely be back next year.
We can't wait. Any plans yet for next year? I mean, are you starting to think about what you'd like to do at least?
Thinking about it, yeah. I think we'll keep the same format, the same cars, because it seems to work well together, and probably a different track, and then we'll see.
Well, I've asked everybody else. I'll go ahead and ask you, what are your immediate plans for season 3?
Some more GTO. Staying with the Kamel.
Okay. All right. You're staying with the Kamel. Going to give anything else a shot, or is that all you got time for?
I might show up in the odd 49 race, but probably just Kamel.
All right. Well, listen, Phil, again, sincere thanks for putting this together with GSRC and all the work you did behind the scenes to get these drivers together. An excellent event, and we appreciate you a whole lot, man.
Thanks, Sean. And you guys too for your awesome broadcasts.
All right, everybody. That was Phil in and around the lake. And boy, again, just so thankful to him for putting this together today. Johan, any closing thoughts, buddy?
I hear Phil say that this is gonna be back next season, and I already want to put myself in the broadcast because this was fantastic. This is something that we want to see every week. These are 4 retro cars with really different characteristics, but these drivers made it work. They put on an amazing performance out there, great racing, great respect for each other that we saw some of the drivers mention in traffic, and just a fantastic show all out there today.
All right. Well, we want to thank Philip Lake for choosing GSRC as the exclusive broadcast company for the 2018 Summer Classic. We want to thank all of the fans that tuned in today and watched this just amazing event take place and unfold here. The original music, though, that gives every GSRC broadcast that unique flavor and feel is thanks to Eric Wow. Now I finally stumble. Thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. GSRC will be here to bring you all the retro action in Season 3. Yes, the Kamel series, the Lotus 79, and the Lotus 49 series all crank back up here for Season 3 next Saturday. We hope you join us. Sliding across your screen now are some upcoming broadcasts, so check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. Folks, we still have 2 more exciting races here in Week 13 on the Global SimRacing Channel today. Next here, catch up with, at the top of the hour, I think it is, we'll start with the MWT World Tour brought to you by Huskenfeld. And don't miss that. They are at Sebring under the lights. And then this evening at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time, don't miss this. We've got the Inspector Ride Porsche Torch here on the Global SimRacing Channel. That's going to be an exciting one. It's going to be the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car. No, not the new RSR. At Phillip Island, lots of people have practiced. We're going to have drivers from all over the world. A lot of drivers invited that we haven't heard from yet. So if you're listening and you got an invite, get registered. Get in this race. There's still plenty of time to register. It's going to be big fun this evening. Now, we do appreciate everyone again tuning in today, but if you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it all at our website, globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can right here on this YouTube channel. Upcoming races already scheduled. You can find that. Please subscribe to us. We're also on social media, Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook, type in Global SimRacing Channel. You'll find us. Lastly, we're on Instagram. Find us on the gram, GSRC_gram. Finally, on behalf of my booth mate, the fan belt himself, Johan Van den Belt, our director, the great Amjad Yaman, our camera artist, the amazing Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching today. With that said, we're off to have fun, storming the castle for old buddy Soup, who's got to do the MX-5 World Tour next. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.